Okay, folks, good morning. Now, as I had mentioned the day before yesterday, I wasn't going to be on this morning. But as you can see, I am. So, yeah, I've got some time to do an hour and a half, maybe. So, that's what I want to do. And I got something cool to talk about. I'll bring it up with when some folks are online. And we can take a look at that. But for now, I finished the T-34-85 that I was working on the other day. And I did find out what it was that said on the side of it. It was Suvorov. 36 Suvorov. So that's this guy right here. Oh, I didn't finish. I need to paint these packs, so I don't know what color I'm going to paint them, so we may leave that for a little bit. I wanted to get the next T-34 working on that. Of course, they're not sealed. They'll look a little better when they're sealed too. So the next one I want to do is this one right here. It's got some battle damage on it. I don't know if battle damage is the correct terminology. Let's say it's missing a fender. And this is one that we're going to paint a hypothetical markings on. We're going to have hypothetical markings on this one, but we need to get, and I cleaned this whole area. This is pretty put together. Let's see what we've got baking in here. One of these better be the headlamp, because that's the one we need. Actually, I need two headlamps, so I got to turn around and make another one. Exhausted with the headlamps. And these don't come out really well at all, but it's better than not having one. And it's just because of the shape that it is. It was hard to cast. But you know, there's some details that this vehicle, for instance, doesn't have. Like the horn. The horn goes right behind the headlamp. None of these have horns on the miniature. And this is not in IPMS show, so I don't feel the need to have to make those. Let's put that at a little bit of an angle so that it matches the hole. And that could be glued as such. Where's my super glue? Literally put everything away. Yeah, none of my plans changed today. I'm still going out of town for what I was planning on going on to out of town, but I realized every time that I go, I end up waiting in line. You know, I get there early, the place doesn't open till 10, and I get there early and I'm waiting in this line outside. You know, what the hell for? So I'm gonna get there after it's open a little bit, like 10:30 or something like that. Let somebody else wait. I know. Then I gotta wait in line to get in the car. But hey, at least I'm in the car waiting. And we got some, and we got a morning show down. Let's put a little bit more of that here. Take the little scraps, throw them away. Okay, this one needs a machine gun, all right? That's the next casting. That's this one right here. It's not just a machine gun, it's like a little armored plate. It's rather unattractive, but I guess it gets the job done. Hey, good morning. What did you just say? A funny Munring. Morning even. I don't know where I come from. We use Munring. Munring. What's up, Ben? I wasn't supposed to be here this morning. Joke's on you. I'm here. I could do about an hour and a half. Something like that. So, hope you'll join me. I'm going to paint the fictitious T-34-85, the fictitiously marked T-34-85, and I went on, I was going to fire up, Call of Duty World at War that came out, I don't know, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, or something like that. And in that, I think in all the Call of Duties, but that's the only one that has Russians in it. You get to pilot a T-34-85 for part of the game, and it has a name. And when you point at the other T-34s that are with you, the NPC T-34s, they also have names. I don't think they're painted on the tank themselves. They're just like, almost like subtitles. And one of them, it might be your own, or another one is called Tiger Tamer. And I'm going to paint Tiger Tamer on this T-34-85. I found out what it's called online. I double checked it with someone that I am in communication with that speaks Russian, and checked that it makes sure, and that's what we're going to paint on the side of the turret. It'll have a number also. I don't know what number yet, but we'll do that as well. And we have to cast one more headlamp, huh? The bloody headlamp. Okay, well, I don't have to do that right now because it'll just be for that tank. I have a few more tanks to do before that. But this one's going to be, it's missing a fender on purpose. I defenderized it. Okay, but before I get into that, I got something in the mail yesterday. It was that I kind of took a risk on. Somebody this week sent me a Amazon gift card, that unexpected, for helping them with something. And this is something I would have gotten anyways because I wanted to get this book, and not available in stores. And you could buy it new for about $30, a little less than $30, or you could buy it used for $9. And I got a used one, and it's basically new. Rolling Thunder Against the Rising Sun: The Combat History of the U.S. Army Tank Battalions in the Pacific. So, I definitely, if I do Pacific combat, I definitely want to have the ability to have some vehicles in it, some tanks in it. So I'm going to work it backwards and see specifically if I get some scenario ideas from this. And I'll tell you what, this is the only book that I've seen that's like this. What do I mean by that? Well, I flip it open. Here's the title again. Here's the title again. Table of contents. Baptism of Fire. The action starts. None of this bullshit of, oh, the U.S. Was designed tanks right after World War One, and they were late in the development of, none of that crap. We're already in combat in the Philippines. 5 M3 Stuart tanks of Company B, 192nd Tank Battalion, rumbled out of the Philippine village of Rosario on the main island of Luzon late in the morning of December 22nd, 1941. I mean, boom, it already talks about, I've already got a couple guys been decapitated and killed, and I'm only like 2 pages in. So, this is going to be an exciting read. Yeah, there's already Stuarts and Hagos going at it. The first Hago they encounter ends up ramming a Stuart. Like, physically ramming it. You know, they were already crazy in 1941. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Anyhow, this is going to be really cool. I read 3 or 4 pages while I was eating my breakfast before I came on here. And it's got the kind of detail that I'm interested in. You know, so looking forward to this. And I wish there was more stuff like that, because that has really crunchy detail. So, I also came across a website when I was surfing around this week, a couple days ago, about the history of the 7th Armored Division. And it's online. And there's a lot of really crunchy detail about that. So I think what I'm going to go in the desert is, I'm probably going to do, and I've talked about this before, doing some stuff around Operation Crusader as well. And I mean, I've got that scenario book that does really, really early desert stuff, like not even up through Tobruk, the first Tobruk. But I've always been really interested about Crusader. And I've got that audio book, and it has so much crunchy detail in it that I just can't listen to it while I'm driving a car, and I miss all kinds of stuff. I need to go in with a notebook, you know. But there's this website also that, actually I don't know what website it's on, but it was a PDF that they made that has all of British tank, not all of British tank names. God forbid, that would be a godsend, but a bunch of details of British vehicle tank names that they know, and it's broken down by what type of tank, the name, obviously the name actually is broken down by the name, what unit it's part of, what the unit of service markings were, if it's known, and if there's any photographic evidence. And there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of loopholes too, but when we get to do that kind of stuff, I'll be able to make up names that make sense, if nothing else. And our Soviet tank commander. My Tinkerbell wake-up song. I hate that tune. That was just the default one. I changed my 5 a.m. one, and usually I'm on my phone at this time, and it'll come up. Hey, do you want to cancel the one for 6 a.m.? And I go, yeah, I'll cancel that. And I didn't today. Let me show you a close up of this dude right here. We've got to paint his overalls, but that is a plastic figure by Ryan. Extremely good casting. Just really, really happy with this bastard. But we're not going to mess with him this morning either. We're start prepping the other T-34. And for that, we need to get black. What happened, Ben? You leave? Scared off. We'll see how many people come on here if they listen to me or not. Well, you said you weren't going to be on. I'm not going to listen to you. Well, I did say that. I did indeed say that. And I took all my things away, so my brushes are not right here where they should be. Yeah, this will work. But I hope the rest of that book is that same way. We're just fixing up one of the M3 honeys from PSC. Awesome. You've already gone to the desert. Oh, you're doing 15s though, aren't you? Hope they don't go out of business like Armor Fast. Well, I like those pens for 4Ds that I ended up converting from Armor Fast, and I got some M4s from them. I picked up another one in the junk pile, which, other than it being painted sloppily, isn't junk. So, yeah, I don't like this having to feel like you got to be in a hurry because buy this stuff up before the company goes out of business. But I guess this is well, Armorfast has been around for a while. I think mine's from 2002 or something like that. So after 20 or so years, they throw in the towel. That's reasonable. I just stepped away for 2 decades, you know. I didn't realize you put one of the spare gas tanks on a little too far offset. And then once you see that, you can't unsee it. You're like, you got to fix it. Yeah, I get it. All right. So let's go ahead and paint this, and let's get our base green out, 4BO, and give it a dry brush of 4BO. I'm liking using the paper towel better. I know. When some of you guys say, well, I've always used a paper towel. I don't know why the hell you use this. I don't know, because paper towels are for cleaning things. Be nice to me or I'll show you Mitch's feet. I'm doing this, so hopefully we can finish this thing up when I get home tonight. I mean, if I make it home. I don't know why I wouldn't, but Now this time is actually, I'm actually going for ideas. This is a car show that I've gone to. This will be the fourth time I've gone to it, and it's specific to the brand of car that I have. So it's a good opportunity to go there and see what other stuff people have done cosmetically. You know, like roof racks is really what I want to see. What roof racks are out there? Because man, it's really hard to figure that shit out. There's a lot of misinformation, and I'm fine doing all the stuff myself. And I'm not doing anything mechanical components or and nothing electronic or anything. So I'm gonna take some photos and. But the price on those things is all over the place. I mean, they'll go from like $75 to like, you know, several thousand. Like, I go to those places and answer questions, and unfortunately, and ask questions. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are really at at several shows, whether it's a gun show or whether it's a car show. They're generally unfriendly. Like, you know, why go to some social ish event and not talk to people? But a lot of them is like, you know, a lot of these folks, like, they just show up there and they want people to, like, you know, be in awe of their stuff and feel good about themselves. And I don't know, that's just not my kind of thing, you know. I got the people in the hobby club that are in the model club that are always excited about going to these model shows, and I'm like, I've got no interest because it's just going to be more of the same thing. And honestly, with the exception of a few people that are pretty famous on the internet or, you know, in their genre, I don't. I generally don't like people's other people's modeling stuff because I do modeling, but it has a certain look to it. I don't want ultra realistic. I also don't want cartoony. It's my own style, and I'm happy with it. And I don't need to go to one of these things to buy anything. So I don't like those people that are in these hobbies. They're just not friendly. And don't get me wrong, I can be a pain in the ass, but you know, not without reason. You know, I don't go there to, you know, talk about how good my shit is and other people's stuff stinks. That's not me. You know, that's not what I'm interested in. It's like I don't really go to game conventions to game. Although the one game I played, everybody that was in it had the right attitude. I was actually really impressed with that. Um, Especially the two other players that were right next to me that were racing together. That went really well. That went. That was that was actually a lot of fun. I was like, I know this is a shooting game, but I'm gonna wait until, you know, I'm not gonna shoot you unless I have to. Like, you know, it's a race. Let's race. I mean, there's no point in knocking everybody out of the race out in 15 minutes. You know, what are you gonna do the rest of the session? Everybody was kind of online with that too. I had this one game group that I used to go to. There was this one kid who always had it out for this other guy, and no matter what game they were playing in, his whole mission in life, he even said this, was to knock the other guy out. I'm like, am I missing something? You sleep with the guy's daughter or something? I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. I have different strokes for different folks. I don't like games where you're forced to be, you know, to be a turncoat on somebody. It's okay if you have to stab somebody in the back on the last turn because somebody's got to win, but just to do it just for the sake of spite, that's just not in me. I'm not, I don't do that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, let's add a little bit of the magic ingredient. Not my magic ingredient. I didn't come up with it. I want to say it was Sonic Sledgehammer that said to add dark sand. I think that was him. He was one of the people that I watched before I started painting vehicles again. I didn't want to paint 20 vehicles and be unhappy with them. And then go, oh, I wish I would have seen this video before I painted my 20 vehicles. Now, the one thing I do have to do is I want to go back and re-blackline many of my vehicles. But that's easy. That's just taking the vehicle that I have and blacklining it. Just because it makes the details pop better. I like it better. Pin wash it. Although pin washing it makes it sound like it's a lot darker than it is. It's actually pretty watered down, that Nuln Oil, which is fine. That way you don't overdo it. You know, if you want it darker, go over it again. There's one guy that I work with. He's relatively new. I got to talking to him and find out he's some kind of a gamer. But he plays Warhammer. I know I shouldn't hold that against him, but anyway, he was telling me he's not really a painter or anything. He was telling me yesterday. He says, "Yeah, I just ordered the Kill Team set to play with my friends." I said, "Well, how much is that?" He's like, $175. Holy fuck. This is my version of modulation. This is what I do for the modulation. Or, that's a new word. We never used to call it that. We'll call it different color variations so it doesn't look like a big old slab. I guess modulation is more succinct of a term. But you know, just from my DBA experiences, I can tell you this much: it's not getting into different game systems for me that's a problem because of cost. Not that I'm made of money by any stretch of the imagination, but it's attention span. I can't do this and Gaslands and DBA, and it's like, you know, you can't do everything. So you got to pick what you're going to do. And if I don't throw myself 110% at this is never going to get off the ground. And I can't get excited getting a book about the fluff of Warhammer or the fluff of Gaslands or you know, it's just not the same. So I chose you, World War II. This is battle damage. I don't know that it's really that damage. These are flimsy ass fenders, anyways. I did wash it already, right? Yeah. Whew. Not that it's I have to do things in a certain order, but okay, we need to do wheels and tracks next. I don't know why, but, well, I'm going to be flipping around in my hand and I don't want this nice turret and then I have to take the name off of it or something. Let me go get my brushes that I took away. I believe it's this one that I used. I moved them out of the way because, and here's what I should do. I got my grenade. I should use this one for the brushes that I use frequently. But that big old brush thing, it's just too big. I wanted it out of my way, so it's just over on the other table. All right, let's mix up some black. Let's put this green back. We got Ben on here and two people that are astounded that I'm on Saturday when I said I wasn't going to be. Well, I'm not going to be here long. But I want to get this stuff done. Don't you want to see a king tiger surrounded by like 6 T-30-45s? I don't think I've ever played a game with a king tiger. I mean, these are attractive tanks. A T-30-45 is an attractive tank. If they had, I'd say almost all the Soviet tanks are attractive. They're painted like, communists just don't have good ideas. I did find a picture of a T-30-45 with, I believe I saved it on here. No. Oh, I did find a cool picture surfing around the other day. You've seen that picture of, I don't have any of these, but I'll say it wrong. The Porsche King Tiger, the pre-production turreted King Tiger that was attached to Panzerlehr. Panzerlehr had a few attached in Normandy, and they make it in die cast. They make the decals for this vehicle in die cast, or they make this vehicle already pre-put together in die cast. With the number 12 on it that was at Normandy. And I don't know how many Panzerlehr had attached to them, 3, 4, something like that. And it has this big number 12. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a pre-production turreted King Tiger. I don't think it's got any fenders on it. I think the side skirts are taken off of it. With Zimmerant, I believe it's got Zimmerant. And with a big 12, like a big white 12 on the side. I found its sister. Found a picture of its sister, which I'd never seen before. And it's not having a good day. And it's number 11. So I'm like, I gotta save that, because that's super cool. And the abandoned King Tiger. It isn't clear in this picture if the tank was shot in the side or simply driven into the ditch. Well, it's got a big fucking hole in the side of the turret. Like, that's a problem. That's not a pistol port. I actually like the way that turret looks a lot. I think it's because the cupola comes out a little bit. And this is a common advertising there. Dubonnet. I think it's some kind of wine or probably an aperitif. There's so many damn aperitif ads for things on the side of buildings. Yeah, I'm going to paint one for France. So as much as I like the Eastern Front, the terrain for the Eastern Front, talking about buildings, isn't very useful. Because you can only use it for the Eastern Front. If you do stuff for France, you could do France 1940. You could do France 44 with the Americans or the British. Sorry, the Commonwealth. I'm not trying to diss any Canadians, just it's habit. And let's do the road wheels here. We're probably gonna. No, we're gonna need more water than that. But I saw a picture. I guess I didn't save it of a T-34-85 with the tarps back here behind the turret. And the only reason I know about that is my first foray into tanks was GHQ Micro Armor, and they gave you a couple different variants of the T-34-85s. That was like the first pack I bought was T-34-85. Hey, I bought whatever they had in the store, and they had those, and some had the little tarps behind the turret, made it look rather unique. And I saw a picture of one. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna save that, and apparently I didn't. I mean, what do people use aperitif for? Certainly not the drink. That stuff is terrible. And I'm not a fruity drink person. I'll drink scotch, but aperitif is like, you know, horrible stuff. Just absolutely horrible. Wash your mouth. Okay, I can either wash your mouth out of soap or you can have some aperitif. Mouth soap, please. And anyway, so I was talking about the terrain. So I'm reading this book this morning. I'm thinking, I really don't have an interest in doing the Philippines in 1941, 42. But whatever I come up with the Philippines or the East for 1944, I could use it in 1942 as well. So I'm like, okay, well, it's not such a bad idea. I don't really, not really interested in doing 1942 because of the infantry. I think at that point, I think they used the steel pot World War One style helmets. And man, that's another kind of infantry I can't like double use, but I'm all for Stuarts running around, man. I like Stuart tanks. But in the very first action, it talks about that I read, 3 pages in. It was talking about, I don't know much about those early Stuarts other than I know that they had like 5 machine guns. Yeah, the whole machine gun, the coax, and then it had 2 like in these sponsons, and plus if it had an AAMG. And when the British took those off to go to the desert, the sponson ones, because they weren't any good. And I'm like, why would you take off extra firepower? So when I was reading this account, those sponson machine guns were fired by the driver. They're electrically controlled, and in the action it was talking about the driver went on the road and he turned the vehicle from side to side and he was sweeping the rut next to the road with the machine, because I guess they can't turn at all. I guess they don't have any flex. They're aimed for this point and that's it. Well, yeah, that's pretty useless. Yeah, get rid of that. That's no good. But those are the super early Stuarts, so they had those, the ones that were in the Philippines. So we hopefully will get excited about doing that. But this isn't DBA, so if I decide to say, what, I want to paint some Stuarts for whatever period, I can do that. And I don't mess up the timeline of when I have to get things done because I don't have a timeline. Okay, we did both sides on this road wheels, yeah. I don't know why people think road wheels are such a pain in the butt to do. You should try painting 32 Roman sandals in a row. That's a pain in the ass. Maybe if I was doing the road wheels of like multiple vehicles all in a row, that would suck, but we don't have to get these done by any set time. What are you doing with those honeys? You gonna make them for Well, Western Desert, obviously. What the hell, you know? Where else would they be? Did the Soviets get any of those early Stuarts? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think without doing any research, let me go get a Coke. I'll be right back. My morning Coke. My morning Coke that's already started. Don't quote me on this, but as a general group, you got like three versions of the Stuarts that are before the M3A3s. So M3A1, M3 and M3A1 Stuarts. This is just me going off of memory. And I think this is how Plastic Soldier Company makes them. Again, just going off of memory. You got the early one, whatever the hell it's called. It might even be called an M2. And that one has those tons of machine guns. Then you got the Honeys. The Honeys have a different type of commander's hatch, right? Instead of it being, it's multi-sided and squared off, and it doesn't have the sponson machine guns. And of course, it has the cool camouflage. You know, who doesn't like a Honey with a cool camouflage? Weirdos, that's who. Only weirdos don't like the Honey with the cool camo with a counter. And then there was another version of them. It's probably an M3A1, and I don't know what the specifics of that one is. But the ones with the the Honey type top, I think only the British got those, and they only went to the desert. And I think the other version, the third version, the one the Soviets got. But I don't like doing Lend-Lease stuff for the Soviets. First of all, I don't think we should have done Lend-Lease. No, hey, nobody asked me. I wasn't thought of yet. And, the Russians have their own tanks to use that are, So I don't want to do a Lee in Soviet service or a Honey or a Matilda or a Valentine, Churchill, Especially because I'm pretty sure that the base color was whatever came from the United States. So you've got all these Soviets in this Soviet type green, and then you got this one in this olive drab. Like, it just looks freaking weird. You think you'll split the box. 2 for the desert as early ones, 2 for the Soviets or the later models. You have 1 left over then. Oh, because you get 5. Yeah. You want me to look it up? I'll look it up for you if you want me to. Let me know if you want me to. I got the source data for that. I'm just going off of memory, and I've never built any. So the fact that I know anything about them is just the sheer case of curiosity. But I've always liked that tank. It's cute. Yes, cute is important. It's cute. It's fast. It's fast as shit. But I was reading in that account that those Stuarts that they had in 1941, they had an issue with firing the 37 millimeter gun and it getting stuck back, like it wouldn't recoil back into place. Because that's the way the tank guns are. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but you load a round in, you fire it, and it comes back, spits the round out. This is how it's supposed to work, and then goes back into place. It's got hydraulics in there to keep that from happening, and apparently it would kick back and get stuck in that position. So, yeah, the first tank in the first engagement that happened, they fired the 37 at somebody and he got stuck back. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll run around with 4 machine guns, right off the bat. Well, they would go into the vehicle pool with a T-70, so I kind of have to pinpoint the item they were together. Late 42-ish? Probably mid 42-ish. probably mid 42-ish. If you're talking about Lend-Lease, the Russians got Lend-Lease stuff, I think, even in 1941. Churchill felt that sorry for them that early on. So I believe the first wave that they got was Stuart's, Matilda's, maybe Valentine's almost at the same time. I was reading something, I didn't pay much attention to it, but we were talking about a sizable of the British tank production didn't go to the desert. Like when they were only fighting in the desert, a lot of it, they only got like maybe a third of the stuff because it went the Lend-Lease stuff that stayed at home, and then the desert. I'm like, dude, you're fighting on this front. Send them all the friggin' tanks you can. I want to say it was something on the Matildas. Anyways, rumor has it I have a Matilda coming. Just saying. And if it turns out to be stellar, there'll be more coming. I don't need more than 4. I mean, that's pretty extreme. You put 4 Matildas on there. Everybody likes Matildas too, right? Stuart is a lot better tank. Is a Stuart a 3-man turret? It's certainly a 2-man turret for minimum. Might be a 2-man turret. T70. Yeah, I got another one from that junk bag, so now I'll have 4. That's plenty. What rules are you using? Oh shit! I asked the question that I hate when people ask me. We'll have some tank combat in my game before the end of the year. I promise you. It might be something small, but I have no idea how it plays out. Well, I have an idea how it plays out, but I haven't seen it in practice. And if I don't like it, if it doesn't provide the detail that I think it should have, then I'll be changing that. If it doesn't provide the narrative that I expect it to provide, I think it will. I haven't had to change anything, so. Not really sure. I might try a modified version of Stargrunt. Maybe I'll just do these for the desert and go all in. I was eyeing up that AK Interactive DAC PDF file we found before. I don't know which one that is, but I'm sure I could find it again. So, this counter scheme thing that I got, 3rd generation. See, now I actually have AK. This is AK, not MiG. Scale reduction factor. Yeah, whatever. I don't like Valentine's, but that's pretty freaking cool. So, I may do Valentine whatever for Tunisia at some point. Just saying. Hey, the way I'm doing it, I'd be like, I want to paint a late war Valentine, just not do anything, and not do anything else with it. I don't have to have it for a game. It's called freedom. You can do whatever you want. Buy that plastic soldier company. It comes with multiple Valentines. Soviet vehicles normally don't have a red star, but a lot of the red stars I've seen have been on Stewart's. So if you like red stars on vehicles, which I happen to, I think it looks attractive. Um, but the Stewart's would be in just olive drab. They wouldn't be the Russian green. I'm sure some were repainted, but as a general rule, they came right off the assembly line. And all right, climb in, these American piece of shit, and let's go kill some fascists. You know. I was looking at the funny tank slogans, and I came across these tank slogans that people had made up with Russian characters. There's actually quite a few of them, and one of them that made me chuckle was "Stalin is my homeboy." Like, I want to do stuff that's appropriate. I mean, that's, homeboy hadn't been invented yet, and when it did, nobody thought of Stalin as one. My other tank is a Sherman. Ooh, I should figure out my. I identify as a JS2. If you're making up shit, you could come up with some pretty funny stuff if you're making up shit. Like, this King Tiger is a vegan, shit like that. It's a file that caused all the hoopla where we couldn't pinpoint which kind of Balkenkreuz was used for which vehicle. I don't like that Balkenkreuz. It's backwards with the reverse colors. I don't like it. It does not bode well. Germans had a captured universal carrier with a thick black, white, thin outline cross on it. Yeah. A couple of the Valentines that they did that on the reverse on the captured vehicles. If you're going to make up paint, if you're going to make up like identification things, I would not use the made up ones on the captured vehicles. Like, you need all the help you can get to make sure your people don't blow you up, And it just doesn't seem to me that would be the way to do it. You need to make sure that people know what's going on there. So this is going to be Tiger Tamer. We're not going to try to pronounce it. It's bad enough they're not using the same letters. And besides, these days, nobody likes the Russians. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of that I like them at any point. I'm just saying that all of a sudden, first like, they used to be our allies. They were never your allies. They were just a different asshole fighting Nazis. They were never your allies, pal. Okay. German, black, brown. Did mount a big 25 millimeter Hotchkiss on that carrier. It looks kind of cute. Yeah. Yeah, universal carriers are unattractive but cute. Stewart's are cute all around. What else is unattractive? Mark 6s. Mark 6s are an unattractive light tank. But they're cute. T60s fall into that category. Of course, it's just my opinion. Some people find other people cute. Hey, some of you guys like cheekbones. I don't. Got a T60 coming too. I saw an article. Worst vehicle designed ever. Perfect. Maybe the gun will jam and just gets to run over Nazis. Yeah, 25 millimeters seems like a really shitty weapon, caliber wise, but that gun was actually pretty decent. Just if it punched in, it just wasn't a whole lot punching in, just like a big anti-tank rifle. Yeah, the anti-tank rifle didn't necessarily do any damage. It could, obviously, to a vehicle, but it was mainly to punch in there and hurt the crew. And then when this is drying, because we can't weather it, that's when we'll work on the actual. We got to find the number for it. I'm pretty sure that there was a number for it for this particular vehicle, a made up number for this made up vehicle. And I want to say it was the number 2. I could be wrong. But I don't want to just have the logo with no numbers on it. At this period, the T-34s were really like T-30-45s were really likely to have a number on them as well. So that just adds something else instead of just being a big green slob. We need more of this shit here. There we go. Now we have it accessible. I want to see, I've even seen a PAC 38, a 50 millimeter anti-tank gun on a Bren carrier. Which is actually, in my opinion, a pretty unattractive weapon. And it's because of the gun shield. So I'm reading multiple things at once, and on Audible I'm reading the tank book. This I think it's called Spearhead. I think is what it's called, and it's like in February 1945, and they're pushing in Germany, and they got a hold of the first Pershing, and they're using the first Pershing in combat. So there might be a Pershing in my future. Although it's not a very attractive vehicle. I think the turret's too far forward is what the issue is with it. But it weighs about the same as a Panther, which is the same as a JS2. And a Pershing is a hell of a lot better than a JS2. JS2, I think the JS2 uses 2-part ammo. Yeah, it's a slow loader. Not only do you have to make sure that the loader loads the round before the gunner comes in, you got to make sure the loader loads the right part of the round first. Oh, I loaded the wrong part of charge first. And I got a couple JS2s, 3 actually to be exact, to finish up for this. I was surfing around on the internet and there was somebody had posted a picture of old Monty, and somebody's first comment was, "Worst general for the Allies." I'm like, that's patently unfair. I don't know a whole lot about him, but I don't think he was a bad general. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept him there. But there's a lot of folks I don't know anything about that I wouldn't mind learning more about them. And Monty's one of them. MacArthur's one of them. I think MacArthur's pretty fascinating. I didn't say he was a great general or anything. I didn't say he sucked. I just think he's fascinating. He's just kind of his own, thing. I wouldn't mind learning more about Monty. Um, let's do this. But I really don't have no interest in reading stuff that is skewed one way or another. Like, just tell me the facts. I don't want somebody's opinion. You know. I suspect these would be pretty good tanks on the battlefield. You think my battlefield's only 200 meters in short? I'm pretty sure they could. There's nowhere on a Panther they can't penetrate. I mean, it is an 85 millimeter gun, 53 caliber. It's not like it's a short gun with low muzzle velocity or anything. These things should be pretty deadly on the battlefield. You should be able to go through the front of a Tiger. Front of a Panther, front of the Tiger, they're about the same. More or less. And there's some weapons that are just, you don't think about it, but they're really, really deadly at the time that they were introduced. And no, I'm not talking about German super heavies. I'm talking about the 6 pounder. The 6 pounder in the desert, holy shit. I mean, it's 57 millimeter when the biggest gun is like a 50. It's long as hell, and it pretty much penetrates anything the Germans have. There's nothing saving you from a 6 pounder. So if you're encountering some British pack front, not that it would be called that, with a 6 pounder in the desert, of course they didn't come out until what, like Gazala or something like that? I don't think the 6 pounders were out until Gazala. But those are deadly. I'm sure it doesn't have it's got HE problems. Did they even make HE for it? But it could stop any tank, probably at any range that it could see it at. That's a deadly weapon. And you don't think about, just a 6 pounder. Hey, I don't think a Mark IV F2 could stop a 6 pounder. Sherman, a Sherman Alamein. It's got a 75 millimeter gun. Oh well, that's true. The Germans have the 75 at that point too. Yeah, and the German 75 is slightly better than the American one. But the Sherman's a hell of a lot more. Like they had a lot more Shermans than they had Mark IV specials. But I think the 6 pounder actually penetrates more than the Sherman's gun. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's pretty freaking impressive little weapon. Yeah, this thing. Except typical, the British made it look better. They put a muzzle brake on it. British take anything American and make it look better. Kitty Hawk, Honeys, Grants. Okay. C'est bon? C'est bon. Should I get some of those Danes by Early War Miniatures? They make the Danes in a for a war they were only in for 6 hours. Well, that makes the Norwegians seem like a long-lasting force. All right, let's see how good my Google Foo is. I surf a lot. T-34, 85, Call of Duty World at War. I remember when that game, I played that a lot. As soon as I got a chance to get in the tank when I was playing a multiplayer game, I'd get in the tank. I don't close on anybody. I'll sit at long range and keep lobbing shell after shell of 85 millimeter. Blood and Iron. Images. Show me images, comrade. Ooh. Sexy. I don't want bed spring armor. Yeah, this is a screenshot. The one about has a red star with a 25. I can't use 25. I already have a 25. I'm pretty sure. I think one of my early, and it's from an actual drawing, from an actual illustration. I got an early T-34 with 25 on it. I mean, they'd never be on the battlefield together, but I'm pretty sure I got a 20. I got a 27. I have a 25. It's on the hull. Yeah. No reason I couldn't just do another number though. Oh, there's a Call of Duty 5? I haven't followed that shit. The OT 3485 maybe appear earlier than their land, their blood. Reznov picked up a random T-34 to deliver the speech. The whatever slogan on the is probably a typo of "Ura." Oh, she's got "Ura" painted on the side of it. Oh, hold on a second. Only one of these I played was World at War. Okay. There are also two 24s and an white slug located in the front rear of the turret sides. Oh yeah, here's the 25 with here's a screenshot out of it. It's just for inspiration, you know. I don't have any of these with a red star, so one of them should probably have a red star. Maybe this one here, the flamethrower one. This specific flamethrower markings on them. They'll do that. Okay, so this one, I just want to put a number on here along with the slogan. That's all. That's all we want to do. Oh, I've never played Call of Duty World War II. I don't think I have. That's several years old. I bet it's really cheap now. Oh, it came out in 2008. Holy shit, that was a long time ago. Okay, well, let me go to that conversation I was having with somebody. Okay, good translation for Tiger Tamer. All right, so this is relatively large. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. First words 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, I'm going to, let's transfer this onto a card or something. And we're going to get my Cyrillic on. Piece of paper or something. Certainly have something here. This artwork. Because doing this extra work ahead of time is helpful for laying these things out. Red orchestra tanks. Okay. I will take a look at that one in a second. Okay, and this is capitalized. And I'm probably going to do this stylized that's in here, but we're going to do, and we're going to style Y, K, P, O, T, backwards, N, T, E. Okay. That's the first one. And then the second one is backwards. N, P, O, B. Okay. There's a space between the two. So if we count the space as a letter or two, just for spacing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Let's call it 17. So what's the half of 17? You have 8 on one side, 8 on the other side, and 1 in the middle. So the middle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this B, this lowercase b, is it going to be, it needs to be in the middle of wherever the saying is. Assuming everything is of the same length, which is questionable. So we probably have to write that either across the entire front center of the turret, or if I put it on the lower half, I still have space for like a number up there. Or I don't think I need to put a number on it. Maybe if I got enough space, I can put a little red star or something like that. Red Orchestra 2 tanks. All right, we'll go do that right now. Red Orchestra. What was that a modification of? I know that the one I played was, which is the one that I played? It was a Half-Life modification. Heroes of Stalingrad. Red Orchestra 2 tanks. Images. I look at this, the very first picture, I'm like, okay, Balkenkreuz, don't go there. Like, just contact me. If you're making a video game, come and ask me where the markings go on the vehicles. Yeah, I actually have a vehicle with that marking on it, with the, yeah. See more. Look at this bullshit. What game is this? How to kill a tank. I don't know what this is, but this is a Mark IV F2, looks like it. Yeah, it's not a G because the G eliminated the little side windows on the turret, which that is a major weak point. 517. Sorry, no German tank should have 7 as that last number, unless it's a fake number just to mess up your enemy. There's no 7th tank in a platoon. That's way too heavy. Yeah, but this is wrong. Look at this. You don't put the Balkenkreuz on the top of on the side of the turret there. What is it? A 3M with no looks like a Flampanzer. I really like those smoke dischargers there at the top of the front of the turret, but only some L's in the M had that. And some G's had them as well, some 4Gs. What's worse than a German tank named 517? Well, that's easy. two tanks named 517. Come on, man. You guys are smart enough to do all this kind of terrain. Why do you make a error like that? Oh, this T-34 is really cute. With the snow camo. I'm going to do a snow camo T-34. I'm going to do it. I'm going to airbrush the white. And then I'm going to come in here and put and black line. And it'll look okay. We'll do a base green. I bet we can make it look okay. I'm going to actually take a screenshot of that. Alright, so we're going to write this long ass freaking name here. So for that, I'm going to do this on the blue because it's easier to see where the white is. I got time for that? I'm going to make time. This is literally what I like to do more than anything else. They had all interior models, which was impressed me. It's like 12 years ago, though. Best tank map on that one was called Gumrak. Germans attacking a Soviet airfield in the snow. I like snow shit. I really do. First person shooter, but you might enjoy Red Quest 2. There's a fun of maps take inspiration from. Does one of those have a map on City Rizet? I want to say one of those. One of those has a City Rizet map. Dude, I know how to make the freaking smoke plumes. And I can make bigger smoke plumes than that. I can just see this board that just has, I don't know, 12, 14, 16 smoke plumes with wrecks. And, you know, you get to cover between all the wrecks and 25 pounders firing at open sights at 15 Panzer Division. Just, I think that would be really cool. I think that would be really, really cool. Or, you know, a small section of it, obviously. Can't have the whole damn airfield. All right, now let's go grab the blessed brush. This thing's incredible. Black. And we're going to do all the verticals. We're going to space these things correctly with the verticals. Let's put some water here. Yeah, the thing about maps and first-person shooters is for every map you like, there's some you just absolutely hate. Who's on here? Who's going to witness this miracle? 5 people. Okay. So the middle point is this B. God, it's going to be long. No. The whole thing is to get started on the right track. So I am going to go ahead and do the whole B. And we're going to go a little... We need to go lighter than that. I really like doing this, and I feel like this is something that a lot of people just refuse to do or can't do or don't want to do. So, right, let's put a B down. And we're going to paint it on the bottom here, or towards the bottom. All right, and then we're immediately going to throw over here and go to a space. There's the vertical for the T. And the reason I'm doing the verticals is because that forces you to space them out where they need to be. Jared, welcome. Sorry I can't adjust the camera shorter. I can't. Let's make this B a little bit bigger. Taller. That's going to be the T. We're working this way. And the two verticals for that backwards N. And then the vertical for that. Then a P. Then the O. Well, that one you don't have a choice. You got to paint the O. Yeah, I got plenty of. You get plenty of space if you do it like this. Oh, do we have a fluff on here? Fluff alert. And we'll end there. So let's fill these in. We got a B. This is a P. Backwards N. Let's take my own advice. Okay, so we got this part in it, it's that big. All right, so let's work backwards. So we got a B there. We want everything at the same height as the B except that Y at the beginning. It's going to be a little taller. So this is I guess it's a lambda. I guess that's what this symbol is. It's a lambda. Okay, and then an E. Well, I can't do the verticals on the E because it's fucking round. And it's right over this pistol port. You commie bastards. All right. Okay, the vertical on the T. And 2 for the N. Then another vertical for the other T. An O. A P. A K. And the big Y. Let's fill them in. Okay, and now let's really fill it in with white. It's more than a mouthful. Tiger Tamer. Recovering from a 6-round DBA run by Greg Kelleher. Armies and enemies of early Achaemenid Persians. Placed third of 26 with my 2B Athenians happy. Yeah, I like that Athenian army. I'd say hi to Greg, but you already left. Greg, one of the few Australians I've actually met. Super nice guy. Super, super nice guy. I told him, I said, man, Australians are always nice. He's like, no, we got our share of arseholes. Yeah, I've met like 4 or 5 Australians that have come to the States. It's a lot easier for you guys to come to the States than me go to Australia because I just don't get that much time off. You know? I got nothing against going to Australia. I'd probably love it there. Other than that, you guys got to get that driving shit down, you know? I'm giving you guys some time to straighten that stuff out. You know, by the time I get down there, I want you guys driving on the correct side of the street. That's it. That's the only issue I got. I'll suck it up and learn metric temperature, okay? You guys figure out the driving on the correct side of the street. I'm never leaving that alone. So now, because the wording goes all the way to the front of the turret, when I go the other side and I do it backwards, I'm actually going to start at the front of the turret, work back that way. So you don't have like it's front here and then, you know, front on the other and back on the other one. Like I said, even the fucking French do it right, okay? I'm kidding. It's your country. You do it however you want. I'm just surprised the Irish drive on the British side. I would have thought that's like, well, we're not doing that, you know? Like just to stick it to the man. Okay, let's fill these things in. My finest hour still was when I wrote something in Arabic and I sent it to somebody and they sent it to their Arab friend and said they could read it. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I don't even know what the hell I wrote, you know? Derek, what's up, man? Okay, so that's the back. I'll take a closer picture. I'll take a picture when we're done with this. This is easy to do. I don't know why people don't do it more. And I mean, yes, it's patience with this. It's getting the flow of the paint right, so that when you're putting it doesn't like catch, you know. But you can come back and correct the the part you don't like. You know, it's not like it's permanent. And people say, oh, you just use a pen. The pen, you can't adjust the thickness of the line. The line is whatever it is. Plus, it could be thicker if you push on it. And it's too abrasive on the surface, and it catches. I have no luck with a pen, so. Lambda, lambda, lambda. Okay, this one's tricky because it's over the damn pistol port. So let's go ahead and put the next letter in place. No, let's do this one because I may need to adjust where it is. That's an E, or what looks like one of our E's. Who knows what it really is? You got to make sure you don't get one of them fluffs on the end, because that little bastard will ruin all your day. Fluff from, all the dust that we all breathe in. And I don't really have that dusty of a place, but there's dust everywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, let's take a picture. So I don't believe the vehicle in Call of Duty actually had it written on it. That's without cleaning it up. And we'll probably put a little red star up here at the top, like here. Tiger Tamer. Hey, that's not bad. I made up one decal of all the tanks that I have. We're going to do the same shit with the Japanese, too. Whenever we get around to them. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this, even though it's not finished. Maybe I'll inspire some of you guys to try this shit. And then one thing I got to do is, the only thing I ever modify on this is I end up putting auto correction, because this is so bright. It doesn't look, it's actually not, it took it washes everything out. That's the only thing I do. I don't sharpen it or do all the color correction. And like we do a fair amount of snorkeling. And if you look at these beautiful pictures that people take while snorkeling of like reefs and sea turtles or whatever it is, they put a filter in there, so you're never going to see stuff like they have in these photos. That's that beautiful. So, but I try not to do that because you're just creating fictitiousness. I just want it to look like what I'm physically seeing. Like I said, you got to make the Soviets interesting as well. Like people are going to play them. Like you don't want guys like, oh, all tanks are green. Don't worry about it. Like who wants to play that? That's why everybody wants to play German shit because you know it's interesting looking and they have personality. Same thing with the Americans. You can make the American stuff really cool looking too. All right. Do I have it in me to do the other side? I probably should. But it's going to call for another Coke or another part of a Coke. I'll be right back. And I specifically painted this on the bottom because I didn't want to have to interfere with the grab handles and stuff like that, and that makes it even more complicated. Now, of course, the kicker is when you're holding this, don't mess the other side up because then you got to go and correct it. It's not like it's undoable, but you got to go and correct the stuff. Now, this one's tricky because I got to do it backwards. So I got to start because this is further forward than I would have liked. Okay, I would have liked it to be, a little bit backwards, but we didn't run out of space, and everything's spaced out pretty evenly. So we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do with a tiger. We're going to start with tiger and then work our way backwards. Remember, these are hand painted by a drunk. Not only are they a drunk, they're currently intoxicated when they're painting it. I don't know. That's the perception. I should be sipping on vodka. I've been known to do that, and didn't even get a buzz. It was I was playing some game. I was playing this game called, I believe it's called Drive on Moscow by Shenandoah Studios, and they ported it to the Xbox a year ago or so. And it's got on the screens it's got like patriotic music. If you're playing the Soviets, there's patriotic music, and there's German music shit too when you're playing them. And I was playing it. My daughter wasn't paying attention. She's like, "What is that commie music you're playing?" She's like, she even know what it was. It even sounded like they were up to no good. That's a great game, by the way. It's a simple counter. They made two of them. Make a battle. Actually, they made a third one for called the Desert Fox, and I downloaded it for the the iPad, and I guess it was glitchy. And when the 64-bit apocalypse came, I lost it, and I don't think I ever played it. It's a shame. It was LLMA, that one. But there's a Battle of Bulge one, and then there's the Drive on Moscow one. I like those games a lot. I played them a lot, and never with a human opponent. But they're a lot of fun to play, and they're a lot of fun to play both sides. So both scenarios are interesting in that they have offensive and defensive stuff for both sides. It's not like one guy just sits there and takes it. You know. Oh, I should have painted the track stuff on there. Well, I probably need to do that now, because if I paint the side of this, whenever I come back, I'm going to want to weather this. And I don't want to be like, oh, I got to wait for the tracks to paint. So let's paint the tracks. Everybody just shut up. You guys were in awe. Like, it's easy, folks. You just have to pace yourself. You got to get a brush that behaves. It's a liner. What's the secret to the brush? Okay, well, in this case, it's a 20-aught. That doesn't matter. The size of the brush doesn't really matter. It could have been a 10-aught. The important part is that it's a liner. And obviously, that has a good tip. Use that one for faces and all kinds of stuff. Okay, let's get some German chocolate on here. Dark chocolate. Ugh. I wonder if the people that like really dark chocolate like aperitif stuff too, because both of them are like horrid. We only have a few pieces of track to paint on here. Yeah, I love doing that thing in Arabic, and I didn't know what the hell I was painting. I was just copying it, and the guy said he could read it. I'm like, well, that's good. Okay, and then back here. Doesn't feel like a Saturday. I don't know what the hell it feels like. Doesn't feel like a Sunday either. It feels like a work day. Weird. Okay, so when we come back, that'll be ready to go. We can weather that thing completely. Panel line it. All right. Yeah, it needs a red star, maybe even a number on there to balance out all the stuff, the all the writing on the bottom. It's like, well, why didn't you write this on a JS2? I said, well, because first of all, I don't have as many JS2s as T3045s. So I have a lot more opportunity to like do crazy shit here. Not crazy shit, but just outlandish stuff. And We still got the bag to do on the side of this one. And not super rough. Okay. Let's do something for good measure. Let's get some hand sanitizer. Let's get all vestiges of this paint off so we can get these bristles to sit up against each other. I love using hand sanitizer for this. And now your hands are clean. But you do need to neutralize it, because whatever paint you put on here is not going to want to behave well. Okay, and where is this? We're going to paint it. Well, we're not going to paint it backwards. We're just going to paint it in this order. We're going to go from backwards forwards. I want that B to end where this Y ends. Maybe I'll scooch it a little bit this way. Very, very little. All right, I'm going to keep using my hands because I feel like I got more control of my hands than anything else. Holding it with my hands, important thing is, I don't paint in midair. Anything like this is pretty easy to do because I keep my wrist like balanced on here. So it's never carrying any weight or anything. And that's what works for me. May not work for other people. I've seen people like get in some kind of position where they're resting their two and no, I can't do that. I got to have a table that's an inflexible table that doesn't move. Why it's called inflexible. Oh, fuck me. I didn't adjust the chat. Oh, who knows what I've missed. Maybe nothing. No, maybe nothing. Okay, cool. And there may be a way to figure out how to do that automatically, but I got no interest. There's a lot of stuff that I don't mind doing. I don't mind hand painting this kind of stuff. I don't mind converting junk tanks. I don't want to learn how to use Streamlabs. I don't want to watch a video how to do that. It makes my head hurt. I don't want to listen to those nerd burglars. And then you get it down, then there's this new version. Everything you unlearned is out the window. Like, I ain't got time for you, nerd burglar. Go burgle your own nerd. Okay. Now, that's about how big the letters are? Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. But it's nice to do as good a job as you can stand doing. We got some black that's still alive. We don't need much. All right, it's a little bit darker than that for the sketch. All right. We ended there. Okay, so the B goes. Oh, we got that plug that's going to be a problem. Is that same plug? Probably. All right. Okay, that one we'll do all the way in. Okay, and then an O. You got to do all the O. And I do it this way only for spacing. Okay, then there's a P here. The vertical on the P. vertical on that letter. Then there's 2 for the upside down N, the backwards N, and then the tall T. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. Okay, we got the tiger part. All right, and we're going to give us a little bit of a space. Yeah, I don't have a problem with doing decals, but you could spend a lot of time looking for decals and a lot on shipping to get the decals to you. All right, we're going to work the space so that it's to our advantage. See if we can put the space in between the spot on the lambda. So if I put this B here, no, I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to have to put the B about there, and it might be too close. Now the foot of the lambda, and we got that pistol port inside the lambda opening in here. Good. Now we can do the E. It's a big E. Okay, and then we'll go back to normal letters. A T. The other thing that helps is when you're trying to do a circle, remember you don't want your paint really dry on your brush, because that's what causes the problems. Is if you're trying to do a circle, just take it slow and just gently go. I'm exaggerating a lot. Up and down, up and down, up and down as you're going around, so that you don't catch, because the catch is what screws you up. Now you can come back and clean it up later. That's not an issue, but why do it wrong? Why do it in a way where you have to clean it up if you can do it right the first time? Okay, we need a vertical for this T that's here. Okay, and then 2 verticals for the N. If I don't do it this way, what ends up happening is I create a T. I put a line for the T and put a T. And this leg goes so far out here, I end up pushing this next letter so far back that there's this weird gap between them. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. If you care to know. Vertical for the T, we have the full O. The full O. Okay, and then a P. Just a vertical for the P. A K. And the big ass Y. And we ended almost exactly in the same place on the other side. Okay. Oh, Let's get ahead of ourselves here. That's about the right color. All right. Let's fill in these. Let's fill in these horizontals here. What do we got here? A K. A P. Backwards N. A pair of T's. Okay, and these two words, they're a little bit tighter than they are here, but that's fine because we don't have a problem with them going over that pistol port. And these are hand painted. I'll take a picture of this and show you. So think of this as the sketch. Pretty good. I mean, this is some empowering shit. I love doing this because it's like when I'm done with this, I'm like, man, that feels good to do a decal that's not available. You know, not available in stores. Let's rinse all this paint off. Just make sure we get good flow. This is a hell of a lot easier than airbrushing. I mean, it's actually not even close. The airbrushing is stressful. Because of the trigger. I guess you could. That's what I was thinking. This. I guess this is the same thing as the trigger. You know, I'm not pushing the brush all the way down. As soon as it catches, like, you gotta get the right flow out. Let's go ahead and do the lambda first. Art is empowering. If it turns out how you, the creator, like it, it's not important that anybody else likes it. It's important that you like it so that you will continue doing things. And hopefully, I don't know, inspiring you guys to do the same. It's just an added bonus. I've already spent more effort creating one side of this than Jackson Pollock ever did on any of his paintings. Was talking about, went to St. Petersburg a couple of weeks ago, and went out to lunch with my daughter and her roommates, and we're talking about the weekend that we went. All the museums were free, and they have a Dali museum there. That's Dali for you guys, Dali. And although I don't like his style, there's some effort that goes into it. But then we're talking about Jackson Pollock, and we're like, oh, who is that? And there's actually things I think that are worse than Jackson Pollock. But anyhow, so I was like, the thing about people that paint like that is they always die of substance abuse. You ever notice? They always they're either alcoholics and they drink themselves to death, or. Oh, man. I just don't have any respect for people that do art that just doesn't take any effort. There's a lot of styles I don't like, but I'm like, I always trying to dissect, stuff like, how do they did, what they layered on top of what. But if it's just poo throwing things at a canvas, like, no. Let's do the horizontals. And if the paint pen works for you, use the paint pen. I was just telling you it doesn't work for me. This side looks even better. Yeah, they both look good. Tiger Tamer. Let me in my own damn phone, damn it. It's freaking easy, folks. Or it is for me. But it does take patience and take some planning. So that you come up with a win. You don't want to do all this and then be unhappy with how it turns out. Now, yeah, we're probably going to put a little red star on here since this is a make-believe thing anyways. You know? Make sure. Who the hell? Oh, it's going to tell me it's going to rain. Well, I'm not going to be here. Thunderstorms possible this afternoon. Well, it's always possible. Thank you, Captain Obvious. And that's without any cleanup. We'll probably come in with some of the green And let's look at the B at the end and probably enlarge that top hole of the B a little bit. So, anywho, and some people say, oh, why don't you clean up the models? Well, let me show you an example. Let me show you the turret on the side of this T-34-85. It's got that horizontal line across it. Yeah, I see it. I see it better than most of you. I've got +6 right now with my contacts out. But the inside, the top section is instead of the bottom one. So what am I supposed to do? Fill this whole thing in? I ain't got time for that. So this is just a bad casting at a factory. Doesn't bother me, you know. We got some stuff coming up soon that won't have that issue. Whatever the hell that means. Anyhow, that's where we're going to stop for today. And I knew I could sneak in a little thing in here. And see, now if the rest of my day goes to shit, we at least had some success here this morning. So this is Tiger Tamer. And it's going to be the next T-34-85 we're going to do. And we'll put a little red star on there. Consider none of my T-34s have a red star. I know it was uncommon, but certainly 1 in 8 is a reasonable accommodation. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We guys will see you definitely tomorrow morning.